All right. Happy New Year to everyone. Today is January the 8th, 2025. It's 7 o'clock, and we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Peggy, can I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Hondru.
Here.
Commissioner Oravecz.
Here.
Commissioner Lazzini.
Here.
Commissioner Sray.
All right, would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. At this point, we'll go ahead and open up the meeting for public comment for any agenda items. If anyone does wish to make a comment, I do want to remind you that this meeting is recorded and will be broadcast at a later date on our YouTube channel. Is there any public comments? Cool. On to correspondence. South Fayette Library report.
I don't see Ben here this evening, but they submitted their annual report to us, as did Oak Ridge and South Fayette Fire Departments. Dan Miller from Southbridge is here. Anything you'd like to comment on your report?
No, just that next month we'll have the annual summary with more in-depth comparison.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Dan. Oh,
There
there's
is-
Ben. Right on cue.
Hey,
Yeah.
Want to step up to the mic? Do you have anything on your report?
I don't think so. I put in some preliminary year end in there for you guys. Hopefully you saw our fundraising numbers for the year. That's on the third slide. And if there's any questions.
Good. Thank you.
Thanks.
The only thing that I'd add outside of those reports, I included some correspondence from PennDOT. They invited the board and any municipal official to a public meeting, or a public officials briefing, I should say, for a proposed project on Washington Pike that impacts the intersection with Alpine and with Boyce Road. They've been talking about signals and widening for quite some time. In their communication, they referenced it's anticipated being constructed in 2027. And on the 28th of the month at 4 o'clock at the St. Clair Rec Center, they're having a public officials briefing.
Do we have any plans to, lack of a better term, advertise that, externally to our residents, either via Facebook or any of the social media?
If we did, we could do that at 5:30. There's a public
Yeah.
information meeting. I don't see why we couldn't get that out.
I only bring that up because I do recall people that lived along that corridor
Sure.
come to these meetings, in the past, asking about that.
Right. Yeah, we'll make sure we get it out.
Okay, great. So that's all we have for correspondence. Item 6, consent calendar items. 6A, approval of minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Does anyone, you want to second it, Mark?
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
6B, payment of bills. Is there anything there we need to see?
If there's any questions, I can take them. I usually make note of our top 5 expenses for the month. This month, our largest expenses are payable to municipal benefit services, our February insurance, SHACOG, our annual dues, and then Madison National Life, it's our insurance renewal, and then just a couple of software licenses that have annual renewals paid in January, or the highest amounts that we're paying out this month.
Okay. Thank you. Can I have a motion for the payment of bills?
I'll make that motion. I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 6C, financial reports.
I won't go over these in too much detail, but Andrew, if you want to pull up the general fund report there. I will note that this is showing activity through the end of December. We haven't officially closed our books yet, so there might be some entries that would impact this. For example, the real estate tax on the revenue side is unchanged from last month. It's basically unchanged from November as well, or I should say October as well. So we're lagging behind a little bit in some of those deposits that will impact our 2024 numbers. But even just using these, if you look at total expenditures minus total revenues, we're to the good a little over $1 million. So a budget surplus to end the year for the general fund.
Great, thank you very much. Items, do I need a motion to approve the financial reports?
I'll make that motion.
I have a second, please.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 6D, bank account balances.
These are here mostly for transparency's sake. They're listed. You can, I referenced last month that we made a transfer to the capital reserve out of the general fund. That's reflected here as well. The ARPA account is basically depleted. A few of you have asked about that. We'll be reporting at the close of '24 to have spent all of the ARPA funds, the balance being used for our road paving project.
Great. Thank you very much. Can I please have a motion to approve the bank account balances?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 7, recognition of Officer Jim Hubbard and Officer Mike Blocker. I guess that's you, John?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
So yeah, I'm John, Lieutenant of the South Fayette Police Department. Chief Fink couldn't be here tonight, so on his behalf and on behalf of the South Fayette Police Department, I would like to welcome our now retired officers Mike Blocker and James Hubbard up to the front of the room, please. I'm going to say a few words about these guys. Mike has served the department, for 31 years. James has served the department for 25 years with, honor and integrity. And, they are loved and admired and respected by all their peers within the police department. They're already missed among our ranks. And, we are going to miss you guys. We thank you for what you've done. You've been a part of the group, part of the camaraderie that we've shared together over the years. I've learned a lot from these two, and they're going to be sadly missed. So, again, thank you for your service to the department. I'm going to present you guys with your plaque. And I would like to give you guys the opportunity to say anything to the, to your peers and the room if you'd like.
I wonder if I could put this in my wallet.
Just get you a smaller plaque.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's really nice. I'm just getting off of a cold, so you have to forgive me. But, okay, that'll work. Okay, give me the podium.
Got a lot to say.
Ultimately, for those that I don't know, and I know a few, it's been an exceptional time here. I've had the opportunity to work in an area that I grew up with, or grew up in. It's been excellent for me. It's provided a way for a life for my family. One of the things I wanted to make sure I commented on was the progression of the department over the 25 years. We have an exceptional department. We have qualified, team professional people that work for it, and we're getting newer ones. The quality of individuals that have been picked over the years has been outstanding. We have new young officers in administration. Under Chief Phoenix Tutelage, or under his guidance, the department has grown exponentially, become, in my opinion, one of the most professional departments around here. It was a privilege to have worked here, to have been part of the community. I was part of the South Fayette by proxy. I live in Bethel Park, so I spent the majority of my time here. So as I worked, getting to know part of the people in the community, getting to know the ins and outs and how it's worked. So it's bittersweet in the sense that I'd be lying if I didn't say I was apprehensive about retirement, but
I'm not good at this, so thank the Township for 31, almost 32 years that I've been here.
How many?
Almost 32.
He started at 12.
31 years and 8 months. But again, thank the Township. At the time when I started here, we had to live here, so I lived here my whole life, or my whole career here. And again, it's put a roof over my family, with my daughter and my son, through college, and I guess my wife has helped me out too. I'm not very good at this, but yeah, the department has grown. There's been a lot of changes, and I do regret sometimes that I did retire, but now that I've been off for a close to a month now. I'm glad I did. I think I'll enjoy it. But I'm gonna go drive a school bus for the school district, so I'll still be driving around here. I can still call Bob and those guys whenever I see something.
Don't get pulled over in that bus.
Exactly. That'll be Zercher now. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, lastly, I just want to take a minute to thank Ann and Chris for loaning them to us for all these years. I know that it's got to be difficult being married to a police officer. You know, the nights, the weekends, the holidays, the good times, the bad times. It can be draining on the police, you know, on the officer and the family, you know, mentally, physically, and you guys absorb that. And again, thank you for putting up with that, and they're all yours now, so you can have them back. Hopefully they're as good as they were when you gave them to us.
I think Walker broke it.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Was that? All right, photo ops. Sure.
Yeah, sure. What's that? These guys have jeans on.
Well, we won't be pulling you over.
Yeah, you want to get one more?
Oh. You guys want to do a picture with this up?
Yeah, if you two want to go in the front and then at the dais, if you just want to come and find them all.
To squeeze in?
There we go, wonderful. All right, 1, 2, 3. Happy retirement.
Happy retirement, jealous. Enjoy it. It is nice. Thanks, guys, for your service. Appreciate you. Oh, thank you. Appreciate you.
Sorry, I like
We got to sign that again.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, thanks for your service, man. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's been fun.
It's a long time. It's changed a lot here in 31 years. 31 years, 10 years.
Guess this is the part where everyone leaves now. We have the rest of the meeting. So this is the part where everyone leaves and we have the rest of the meeting.
It's all gonna be quiet now.
Yeah, it's all right.
All the fun stuff's over.
See you guys.
See
Thanks.
you. Merry Christmas.
All right, we'll go ahead on with the rest of the agenda. Item 8, we'll do liaison reports. Public safety, from a public safety standpoint, one of the things I need to do this month is follow up with our emergency management coordinator, Brandon. We talked last time about hazards and mitigation plans for those 2 facilities. So we'll get that knocked out. Also, I worked with him and John last month on an EOP for the Lakemont Dam. Also, from a public safety standpoint, attended another SFFAC meeting. It was last week. And then they're working on a presentation to the board at a later date. So that's all I had from public safety. Public infrastructure, Becky?
Yes, there was no meeting, I believe, this month. So, but I do want to say to Danny and his crew, what a good job they did of taking care of the roads. Please pass that on to the road crew. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You all do. Finance and administration, Leanne?
So SHACOG did not have a December meeting, so I don't have anything to report on that front. But what is coming up would be the year-end audit for once we close the books for 2024. So that should be happening. It's kicking off in another, what, month?
Yeah, probably in February.
Okay, so that's really what's in the pipeline. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Postufka is out of town for the Notre Dame Penn State game.
Lucky dog.
Lucky dog. Community and Economic Development, Mark.
Sure, I would just mention, I spoke with the main developer down in Newberry, and things are moving ahead. with about 3 new developments coming in, including Bass Pro, looking at potential either Giant Eagle or one other, and the Wembley Center is still, that's going to be a 70 to 75,000 square foot facility. It's a public facility for pickleball. So things are moving forward down there, and things look good.
All right, thank you. Item 9, old or unfinished business. I don't think we have anything.
I don't believe so.
All right. Item 10, new business. 10A, discuss and consider a motion to advertise for a public hearing for CU 03-2024 Hickory Grade Residential Development Conditional Use Application, parcels 323-F-1, 323-B-10, and 323-B-9 that's zoned R2. And I believe this is just to approve a hearing for the next Planning Commission, correct?
That's correct. The Planning Commission accepted the application for the conditional use application. That's on the Planning Commission's agenda for the 23rd of this month, so it'll be heard at that point.
Okay. So can I have a motion to advertise for a public hearing for that conditional use? I wasn't going to read all the letters and numbers again. You want to make a motion?
All right, I'll make that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
10B, discuss and consider a motion to advertise a public hearing for a proposed amendment to Chapter 240 related to the open space design.
Yep. We've been working with the board to modify the open space ordinance. We had a discussion of it at our last meeting. Solicitor prepared a redlined version of the ordinance. We had a chance to review it with the Planning Commission at their meeting last month. Our next steps in this process would be to advertise for a public hearing and convene that hearing, and then once that's concluded, we'll be in position via ordinance to advertise and adopt it.
Okay, great, thank you. Can I please have a motion to approve advertising for a public hearing for the proposed amendments to Chapter 240 related to the open space design concept?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 10C, discuss and consider a motion to advertise for the 2025 paving program.
We'd like to get this out as early as possible, so we are first out the door with contractors. So we've been working with Jason and his team to identify roads for the program. They're listed in the in your attachments on the agenda as well. Our goal is to have this awarded at your February meeting. One thing to note in this year's program, in addition to traditional milling and paving, we're trying a new product. It's a product called Rejuvenation.
I was going to ask what street rejuvenation was.
Basically, it's an application on newer paved roads, so roads that have been paved in the last 3 to 5 years. It's an application that is meant to extend their life, and it's relatively inexpensive from a lineal feet perspective.
Yeah, it's much more affordable than the traditional paving route. We've been doing a lot of research on this. We've gone to some trainings with Battalion staff. A number of municipalities have been using this locally, and we're intrigued by the use of it. So it should extend the life of some of these roads and do it in a more cost-effective way.
Okay. Great. Can I please have a motion to advertise for the 2025 paving program?
I'll make that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item D, discuss and consider a motion to accept a proposal from Gateway Engineering to perform a comprehensive traffic review and analysis of the intersection of Route 50 and Hickory Grade Road.
This is a project that will be funded from our traffic impact fee program, and looking at Hickory Grade and State Route 50, potentially adding turning lanes and widening of the roadway, but need to do a study that takes into account all the developments in the area and traffic flows at peak times, things of that nature.
Thank you. Can I please have a motion to accept the proposal from Gateway to perform the comprehensive traffic review?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item E, discuss and consider a motion to approve Resolution 2025-1, the fee schedule resolution.
So staff had a chance to look over this. This is a little bit of housekeeping on our end. It's kind of been on our staff list to do for some time. We hadn't modified our fees since 2019. So we looked at areas that, kind of require a little more administrative work or review time from our professionals. So modest increases kind of across the board, but nothing of real significance.
Thank you. Can I please have a motion to approve Resolution 2025-1, the fee schedule resolution?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item F, discuss and consider a motion to extend an offer of employment to Nate Neal as a new police officer. Well, I tell you what, we can get rid of the other two. We're got right in behind.
The seats aren't even
Is Nate
full.
waiting outside?
Yeah.
Does anyone want to make a motion to extend the offer of employment to Nathan Neal?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item G, discuss and consider reappointing Deb Whitewood to the Parks and Recreation Board for a 5-year term ending December 31st, 2029. Can I have a motion for
I'll make that
reappointment?
motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item H, discuss and consider reappointing Jamie Noland and Danny Cerrone Jr. to the Planning Commission for 4-year terms ending December 31st, 2028. Can I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Discuss and consider reappointing William Price to the Zoning Hearing Board for a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2027. Can I please have a motion to reappoint William Price?
I guess I'll make that motion.
And I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
He's in the room.
I know. He'll leave now. Yeah. Item J, discuss and consider appointing Kate Yakich as an alternate to the Zoning Hearing Board for a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2027.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. Item K, discuss and consider appointing Brian Morocco to the Municipal Authority Board for a 1-year term ending December 31st, 2025.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Discuss and consider reappointing Glenn Davis to the Municipal Authority Board for a 2-year term ending December 31st, 2026. Can I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Or a second? All in favor? Aye. Item M, discuss and consider reappointing John Allen Kosky to the Municipal Authority Board for a 5-year term ending December 31st, 2029.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Discuss and consider appointing David Wright to the Environmental Advisory Council, 3-year term ending December 31st, 2027.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 11, department reports, managers' reports.
Thank you, Chuck. You have my written report in front of you. A lot of these appeared on our agenda this evening. I'll touch on maybe a few things that didn't. First, last month, we had some discussion about Miller's Run facility and working on our capital plan for the year that would include some renovations to that building. We're going to start by surveying the building, doing asbestos testing, just to be in position to move when the time comes. So Jason and his team are helping us get that kind of rolling. The other things I think were all on the agenda. A few things kind of off my report that I thought relevant to bring up to the board. We did make an application to the local government academies municipal intern program, and this week we're identified as a placement site, so that's a good thing.
Nice.
Hopefully we'll get a good candidate. A project that we decided to submit would be looking at, I know we had a lot of talk about open space design and zoning and kind of the real estate tax revenue that comes along with it. So we designed a project for an intern to look at the various types of residential development in the township, do some exact numbers, or use addresses and the county website to come up with assessed values, and then maybe look at, if they were through open space, look at the sketch plan and how that would have been through traditional, so we can get an idea of kind of the differences between the two. And I also wanted to pick up on, Chuck, you mentioned the Lakemont EOP, but had a follow-up discussion with those members of the Lakemont Homeowners Association. This board might not be too in line with the dam situation they have there. They have, kind of a holding pond that is pre-existing. It wasn't really designed with the development, an old pond that's draining their stormwater. The DEP has referenced that as being a dam and is asking them to, go through a series of engineering items to get it enrolled in a program that DEP coordinates. They were really thankful for the work that Brandon did for them. Checked off a box, and they did a thorough review of our files, our documents, to try to put some history together. And what I've offered them was, when they conclude that, maybe we can either invite them to a meeting or hold a separate meeting where we can kind of hear what they've learned and if they need anything from the township and kind of what their next steps are.
Okay, great.
Thanks.
Assistant Manager, I know Pat's not here. I don't know if you have...
Yeah, Pat's a little under the weather. I did speak with him briefly and went through his report. I mean, the largest thing that he's been helping us with, outside of, continuing to work on the escrow accounts, and, we did have some meetings with Waste Management regarding Hunting Ridge. But more recently, he's been working with Paula and with Jason on trying to get West Penn Power to give us a response in our attempts to, bring necessary power to the backside of Fairview Park so that turfed baseball field project can have field lighting. So he's been trying to get us connected with the right people there.
Did we ever get anything back from Waste Management on a solution for those Hunting Ridge townhomes?
Not yet.
Okay. All right, is that all for Pat's stuff?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Building permit reports?
Really a slow month when it comes to permits. They're all residential with the exception of, a sign permit. I believe that's the old King site, as well as there's a demolition permit. This is related to the PennDOT project on Miller's Run Road near Battle Ridge. They're advancing that bridge that culvert replacement, and it requires the demolition of some of those apartments that are at the dead end of Miller's Run.
Yep. Okay. Item D, Communications and Community Development.
Good evening, Andrea Igler, Director of Communications and Community Development. We're working on the winter magazine set to publish mid-February. We scheduled 2 electronics recycling collections in South Fayette for the farm market this year. It's going to be Saturday, May 3rd and Saturday, September 6th. We're continuing to record and post the meetings and to work on technology and information related to a Comcast channel. And my quarterly and year-end 2024 communications report is attached as well, with the deep dive into website and social media figures, request tracker figures, things like that. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Well, I'm good. I reviewed it all.
Thanks for everything.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Engineer report?
Good evening again, Commissioners. I'll go through some of the items in the report dated January the 2nd. As we noted earlier, the 2025 paving project is largely prepared, ready to go out to bid here in a few weeks. The community center, I wanted to note, in previous reports I've told you we've been waiting on the MPDS permit to be issued for that site. It has been issued. So in the event that when that project picks back up, we'll have the permit for it. We may need to modify it slightly, but it is in place, which is a tall order. The Mohawk Road project, we've had the pre-construction meeting with the contractor. We're going to issue notice to proceed sometime in March. So that'll be moving for this spring. We have a number of development projects that are under construction within the township, so we've been hitting those sites. And as I previously noted, the Hickory Grade Road conditional use application is on the Planning Commission agenda for Thursday, the 23rd.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks.
Item F, Parks and Recreation.
Good evening. I just want to say thank you to Public Works for keeping the lights up through December. And we had a couple trips where we had to go out and turn the lights back on. So thanks to Dan and the guys for keeping those on, because people definitely noticed when they were turned off. Heard it constantly. We're still waiting for our NPDS permit for the ball fields, but once we get that and snow melts a little bit, we are ready to go. Been working with Gibson Thomas and their traffic engineer, right? He's a traffic engineer. And for the project, Fairview Trail project that we got over $1.2 million in funding for. We are on track with hopefully construction in early 2026. I'm working on a small little grant with a project from the Active Transportation Plan. It is to improve the crosswalk of the Panhandle Trail down in Sturgeon with a blinking crosswalk, and working with a local art studio to do more of a colorful crosswalk across the road. So I'll be putting that application in. Next month, I will have my annual report for all things Parks and Rec, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those.
Quick question regarding the Active Transportation Plan. Is there another meeting scheduled with the entire committee since we approved the plan, maybe September, October, to now start to prioritize some of those projects, or?
That wasn't planned, but definitely a great idea. We can maybe get them back up and see. That committee was specifically to get the plan developed, and then from there we got to take the plan and we could assign another committee to make the an ad hoc group to make the plan a reality. We could put it on Parks and Rec, but there's really no direction of.
Yeah, I was just thinking. I mean, there was 34 different
Yeah.
projects, right? So now, how do you start to put those in scope, whether it's short-term, medium-term, long-term, easy to do, difficult to do, inexpensive, very costly, and try to get a Pareto analysis to try to start putting some things into action.
It's worthwhile asking the committee if they want to continue on and be more of a advocacy group for the Active Transport Plan, or if there's other people that want to be part of it.
Yeah, I mean, I just assumed because they were active in putting that together, they're familiar with, the different projects. I mean, however you want to do it, I just didn't know what the next step would be.
That's a good idea. I think we should talk about that, like an implementation group. Maybe it's a smaller section of that group minus the consultants that help put us together, because they'd probably charge us by the hour. But
I can send an email, see what their interest is, if they would be interested in that. If none of them are interested in that, we can maybe create one. But we can start with them. That's a great idea.
Yeah, or maybe even look at some of the different neighborhoods that touch that plan, and maybe get representatives from.
And I think another good
those
starting
neighborhoods.
point too that I was just thinking of the other day, a lot of it had to do with the school and walking to the school. Do we start that conversation of just having that conversation of what the interest is and what the interest of a partnership, or if they want it, because those were some of the bigger ones in that plan revolved around the school.
Okay,
Sure. I just had a question. So I have there's a neighbor friend of mine over at Hastings, and they were asking about the trail access from Hastings. Is there going to be a crosswalk across Boyce Road, or is it done by OTB? They have to walk down to OTB?
There's currently
we talked about
existing one right across from the entrance of Fairview. It's already painted on the road.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah, and Hastings already kind of has a stub on their side of the road.
Okay.
So part of the $1.2 million project will be a path coming down along that road to connect directly into that crosswalk.
Okay.
And then there is plan to do some nature trails down into that kind of gravel lot that we're letting a contractor use right now across from OTB.
Okay.
There'll be some nature trails that pop out down from there. But then I also submitted a grant back in December for the design work of a trailhead right across the street from OTB, and then doing something with a crosswalk, and then doing something along the bridge to connect to Upper St. Clair.
Okay.
So that application's in, and that was just for the design work, but if we get the
that's
design
great.
work paid, that starts somewhere, then going and getting funding for the project.
Okay, that's great. And then I mentioned trails down it was the old Winfield Pines.
Yes.
Which is down below there, like across Catty Corner down there. In terms of that, that's owned by St. Clair, right? That's not our.
That's actually owned by
Original
the
Land
Allegheny
Trust.
County Land Trust,
Oh, it
I
is the land-
believe,
okay, it's
but
owned by the
in Upper
trust,
St.
okay.
Clair Town. Like, it's not in South
It's
Fayette
not
Township.
South Fayette, I figured that.
We
Okay.
directly border, Fairview directly borders it, but it's not
Gotcha.
part of
Okay.
us.
So in terms of trails there, we're not going to have like trails down in there because that's a trust, correct? Okay,
Correct.
gotcha.
Any other questions?
No? Thank you.
Thank you.
Item G, police report.
Good evening again. John Leininger, Lieutenant with South Fayette Police. I'm standing in for Chief Phoenix, who couldn't be here tonight. Just a few items of note that Chief wanted me to discuss tonight. Ellie, our bloodhound, had her 7th anniversary with our department in December. Within this past year, Ellie was requested to assist our department and various other departments 11 times. Canine O'Neill was called out for assistance 6 times. Sergeant Moniak responded to 14 calls, SWAT calls with the Shaycog CERT team this year. Officer Schultz responded to 5 Shaycog crash team accidents this year for accident reconstruction. In 2024, our officers were dispatched to 6,301 calls for service. That's a 1.1% increase in calls from last year. Officers issued 638 traffic citations, 1,714 written warnings, which is a 0.5% decrease in traffic stops from last year. Officers also issued 25 non-traffic citations compared to 34 in 2023. Great. Questions? Anything else?
No?
Okay.
Thanks,
Thank
Lieutenant.
you very much.
Thank you, sir.
I know Vitale's not here. Someone stepping in to do public works, or
Dan, just like 10, 15 minutes of presentation, you got that?
do you have your
Ready?
PowerPoint ready?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, come on up, Dan. I mean, the things that I had to note on, department did have 2 retirements also in January. The other, John Barrett and Lou Quattro, have officially retired. And then what I pulled out of Vitale's report that I think was the most, outside of snow removal, I know you guys were doing some work on Saigon Road on
Putting new storm
lines.
pipe on Saigon Road up to Oak Ridge, and we're working down Mayview at the public works site down there, getting ready for paving this spring.
Yep.
And also in the parks, we're taking some old trees down in the bark park and stuff like that, and trying to keep the lights lit, the Christmas lights lit through the season.
There you go.
That's a tough job there. So, yeah.
I didn't want to steal your thunder though, Dan, so.
And we're just keeping up on the snow. It's been awful busy this past
I
couple
bet.
weeks.
Yeah, thank you. You guys doing a great job.
Yeah, been busy.
How we holding up equipment-wise? I know first couple runs, we had some trucks that needed some attention.
Yeah,
How we doing?
they're getting old just like everybody else. They're wearing out and the hoses are breaking.
Getting old.
We're getting younger, I thought.
We have one truck down right now that's gonna need some attention,
Okay.
better attention.
Yeah.
We got the other ones fixed. They're on the road again.
Okay.
That and hydraulic oil. We need a lot of hydraulic oil.
I can't help you. Buy them hydraulic oil. I don't-
You wouldn't think we could hydraulic one.
I don't know. You don't know where to go buy
I can make a
hydraulic
motion.
Any questions for
I
Dan
don't
or
have any
anything
questions.
public works related?
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Dan. Thanks for all you do.
Item I, request tracker and code enforcement report. I don't think there was a code enforcement, at least yesterday. I didn't see one.
Unfortunately, no, we'll get that out to you when we receive it later this month. Request tracker reports there, it looks like most of the others really heavy on the trash and recycling stuff, not a lot of oddball things. We continue to get some complaints, calls about water, mud on the road on Oak Ridge. We continue to monitor that. We did have a discussion with the Conservation District about it. Along those lines, we also had a discussion with PennDOT about there was a request for guardrail on
Yep.
Oak Ridge down there. Vitale did send an email that marked it out, laid it out for them. They came out and reviewed it and agreed to install it, but they cautioned us that they can't do it this winter, but it'll be there.
Yeah.
It'll
Don't do it
be
in the
there.
winter when
Yeah.
someone's most likely to
That's
slide
when it's
off the
icy,
hill.
right? Something
Yeah.
like that.
Jason, did you maybe just want to make a comment for the rest of the folks on the board as a follow-up from our last meeting when there was questions about the mud on Oak Ridge by Apex?
Certainly. We did the following morning reach out to the developer, their consultant, as well as the Conservation District. So we got that dialogue going with everybody again. Conservation District did go out. They weren't cited or anything along those lines. At that point in time, most of the problems were remedied. There was a clogged inlet that Public Works helped to unclog. So everybody's been keeping a close eye on it. They've been doing a little better job of keeping it clear, and we'll continue to monitor it.
Okay, thank you. Item 12, solicitor report.
Thank you. Again, I think most of my items have been covered by the other reports. We continue to monitor some of the active consent orders to make sure that benchmarks are being met. I did work with Pat and John on the Traditions of America collection matter, and we were successful. And I'm working with Paula and John on an agreement with a health fitness provider agreement. Silver sneakers, silver and fit.
Silver and fit.
So we're working on some language with that, looking at some language for that. And the other big thing was the work on the ongoing work with Jason and Gary on the open space design amendments.
Okay.
Okay.
One question I had, and it wasn't in your report, but it kind of came up, maybe Gary Matta, brought you up to speed. A few months ago, there was someone talking about a house that was blighted, maybe up on National Hill. They were trying to find the owner. Is there any progress on that?
I think if it's the same one that I was dealing with, we did send a letter. We found like an address in Florida, and we sent a letter asking them to reach out to us. I think they had been,
The one we were talking about, the owner was deceased.
but there might have been a relative in Florida.
I don't- it could have been.
Okay,
Yeah,
anyway, we gave them till December 31st. We asked them to reach back, get in contact with us.
Yeah.
And I don't believe
Okay.
that there's been any movement on that, so I will follow up.
That's fine, I just want to keep it on the radar.
Okay.
Item 13, we'll open the floor up for public comment. Is there any public comment?
Sue.
Happy New
We love
Year.
Sue. Happy New Year.
I will say I saw them scrape the mud off the Oak Ridge Road twice. But this is my third time I'm here, and nobody has done anything about that guardrail.
Well, that's what he was just
Yeah, it's coming in
mentioning.
spring.
God, you can maybe re-comment.
Yeah, we did, we measured and submitted to PennDOT a recommendation to install it, because it's a state roadway, so the township can't install the guide rail there. We need PennDOT to do it. So they did come out and look at it and agree that it needs it, and then agreed to install it, but cautioned that it might not be till spring.
So people can go down now and go over the hillside. And they have a sign that says, stop ahead. The only two stop signs on that road are Battle Ridge and Millers Run Road. They do not have a stop sign where they are. They have a sign up that says that there's a metal plate there. There's no metal plate. And
I know. Drove away to come here.
Metal plate.
Yeah, I don't, yeah.
And they're not even working on the other side anymore. There's two guys there working today. One guy was clear up on one of those lift things, and the other guy was just standing down the bottom.
On the other side, I think that's just for, isn't that like retention pond on the other side? That's not for.
I don't know.
No, they're,
There are periods
You
of
know
time
better.
where they are working on that side, but they get the majority of their deliveries onto that side, so that's what is prompting a lot of the back and forth, which has created a lot of the mud at times.
Yeah.
I don't
Can they
care
move
about the
their
mud, I
deliveries?
care about the ice.
Yeah.
Can they move their deliveries to the other side to prevent the mud?
Yeah, but then they'd have to get something to move them back up.
I think it's just so tight with the active construction that and a lot of times they don't have a say so. These deliveries come and they just drop them off and
Big 18-wheeler or something. And
yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comment? Item 14, board discussion. So I checked on that. The other thing, just, go ahead. Yep.
And maybe, I don't want to steal your thunder, actually.
Steal
Were we
it.
gonna- Okay.
Steal, you can borrow it, don't steal.
Take it away.
We were talking about doing an annual strategic planning meeting, so I just wanted to make the note, and we'll put out, I know, sorry, I might be stealing your thunder.
No, it's fine. It doesn't matter.
A notice for a public hearing tentatively February,
February 3rd at 6:30.
yes. The only thing from what we talked about for the active transportation plan, this would be something to add as an agenda item. That's the only comment I wanted to make, so that we don't lose sight of it.
Good, and we have it on record. Perfect. Is there Anything else for the board?
That's it for me.
Can I please have a motion to adjourn?
You may.
I'll second.
I'll
All
make
right.
that motion,
Mo-
second.
Meeting adjourned.